Welcome, everybody, to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today. And this week sees two mega movie titans battling it out on the big screen. Well, now on physical media. Godzilla versus Kong, hitting store shelves along with the sci-fi thriller Voyagers, the complete first season of The Walking Dead World Beyond, and Kino Lorber is releasing a Blu-ray edition of the 1986 wrestling comedy Body Slam, plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart with this really nice Godzilla vs. Kong display. Look at this. Cool. That is wicked cool, man. I like that. The two mega icons battling. Very nice. So I'm seeing here they have Godzilla v Kong, the DVD for 1996. They have the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray Digital for $29.96. They also have the Blu-ray DVD Digital of Godzilla vs. Kong for $24.96, and actually also a only at Walmart exclusive, which has Godzilla v Kong, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Kong Skull Island, also for $24.96 as well, which is actually kind of nice. The 3-film collection, however, it's not really complete because it doesn't have the 2014 Godzilla film, so it's kind of like almost complete, but not exactly. But actually, I gotta admit though, that's actually really cool, man, of having all the films together like that. But one thing I really love, though, guys, is if you look at the artwork here, which I really love, man. If you look at that, so you have Godzilla vs. Kong here, then you have that artwork on the 4K, and then this artwork on the DVD. All 3 different artworks. That's really cool, man. Look at that. That is nice. I mean, you don't always really get to see this, and that's one of the things that I really love about this, man. I just love when studios do this, the different artwork. It's an even bigger incentive for like physical media collectors to buy certain things because of the artwork. I gotta say, my favorite artwork would probably have to be this one. I really like this one. However, I am kind of partial to this one, but then again, I also kind of like this one too. I don't know, they're all really cool, man. But that's really awesome that they actually have that. Plus that actually 3-film collection, which is not bad either, man. Now, I saw this with John. We ended up doing a movie review, which you can catch on the movie review playlist. I'll also put a link down below in the description if you guys want to hear our full and complete thoughts on the movie. And we were sort of, I would say, sort of so-so in wanting to watch it. A part of us really wanted to because it's an event movie. It's Godzilla vs. Kong. It's a big film with these two titans coming together. Then on the other side, we kept on thinking to ourselves, we're like, the other films really didn't impress us a lot, so we just didn't know really what to expect with this one. I mean, basically the premise is just to get Godzilla vs. Kong together. There's this, obviously corporation that Godzilla ends up attacking, and they need Kong to take out Godzilla, and it's all kind of complicated, but you pretty much know why it's happening. It's happening because these guys are gonna fight. That's really what you came to see the movie for, and that's what they do. Yeah, they gotta create this whole sort of schmaltzy plot that sort of tries to somehow be interesting, but you know why you came here, guys. Let's be real, man. And I gotta admit, there are some things to really like in this movie. First off, the CGI is absolutely amazing, man. I mean, Godzilla and Kong themselves are really well done. The cityscapes, all the CGI, I mean, it's gorgeously well done, well rendered. It looks beautiful on a 4K or a Blu-ray, even the DVD. It's gonna look beautiful, man. It's gonna look absolutely stunning. And some of the fight scenes are really, really epic. Some of the fight scenes are absolutely amazing and awesome. And yet at sometimes some of the fights feel a little underwhelming. They kind of do. You kind of wanted a little bit more from them. Sometimes they end abruptly and you kind of wanted them to go on a little bit longer, and others feel more satisfying. On the other hand, you also have the characters here, which are really dull and not many dimensions to them and kind of lifeless and don't really do much for the plot. The plot itself is way overcomplicated and sometimes not really even needed all that much either. See, the problem is this movie is a mixed bag. Yes, it's Godzilla vs. Kong. You're watching this for GVK. You're watching it for these two titans battling each other. And for the most part, it delivers. There is some underwhelming moments, but it does deliver. But everything else in the film kind of feels like filler. The characters feel like filler. The plot feels like filler. There's just a lot of like other extra stuff going on, extra baggage that you're like, it doesn't really work. And then there's other things in the movie that kind of feel like they're holding back for like a sequel, which this movie made a shitload of money. I mean, come on, we're going to get a sequel. But at the same time, it's kind of a tough thing, because do you really want to hold back? I mean, things like Hollow Earth and everything, which is cool, but it's not really explored to its fullest. Again, that's most likely a sequel. I think as far as a spectacle movie, as far as an event film, Godzilla vs. Kong absolutely delivers in that aspect, but everything else around it is kind of lackluster and kind of feels like they just did it for the Godzilla vs. Kong getting to the fight stuff. Outside of that, everything else felt like kind of like an afterthought to me. It's a real shame. The movie has its good moments and its highlight moments, and the reason to watch this film is because Godzilla vs. Kong fight, and for the most part that does deliver. The end fight feels a little bit too abrupt, and it feels like there was no clear winner, but again, isn't that always with these event films? Like, there's no real clear winner, but it happens. But the movie's half and half. For an event film it works, but as far as like anything past the fight scenes, it's kind of superficial. I hate to admit it, but it is the truth though. But if you've ever been wanting a throwdown with Godzilla vs. Kong, epic CGI, mega blockbuster style, well, you do get it. So there is that, guys. Not bad. Has its moments, but also has moments too. But I gotta admit though, this is really cool. I mean, come on. That's cool artwork. That's cool artwork as well. I love the 3 different artworks. That's really awesome. And the Walmart exclusive with the 3 film collection, which is really awesome as well, man. I love that. I love it. That is absolutely fantastic, man. Only at Walmart. So if you're looking for a 3 film DVD collection, well, your best bet is to come to Walmart. That's for damn sure. But really nice, and actually a really cool display as well. Who will win? Well, you just have to watch the movie. Or then again, you'll have to watch the sequel, because we know it's going to happen. Not bad display either. Look at that. Really cool. I love that, man. All right. Not bad, actually. Let's see what else they got. And over on the regular Walmart section, physical media new release side, guys, well, shocker, there's nothing new over here, man. Nothing new whatsoever. So it's only that stand for Godzilla v. Kong that is actually new that they have. I mean, it's good that they have that, because if they didn't have that, I would have thought they had nothing this week, guys. But yeah, they still have all the regular stuff. I mean, they still have a ton of Chaos Walking, and I told you guys, I told you last week that they were going to have a ton of Chaos Walking that was going to stick around. I told you guys this was going to happen. They didn't put it out until like 2 or 3 weeks after the movie had come out, and at that point people who wanted to buy it bought it, and they bought it other places, and so now the stock is just gonna sit at this point, and the movie's not even all that great anyway, so it's just gonna sit, man. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens, man. I mean, they have that, they still have, oh gee golly, they still have a ton of Tom and Jerry. Gee, I wonder why. I have that, Boogie, The Courier, which is still really, really fantastic movie. Species. Of course, they have the Dragonheart 5 movie collection for 1996, and I completely always forget that they made 5 goddamn Dragonheart movies. I always forget that, man. Damn. I mean, come on. The first one is really the only one you really need to watch. It is the best one. Everything else is kind of pales in comparison. Let's be real, guys. But if you're jonesing for some Dragonheart love, I mean, they do have that. Some Maria, Supernatural, American Fighter, some Evil. Yeah, a lot of the same stuff over here. They even have a section over here of a lot of the older stuff that they're sort of moving over to this section now. That Saw 4K, Shrek, Chick Fight, On a Safe, Tenet. They do have that Max Cloud movie with Scott Adkins, and I've sort of talked to you guys more and more over the course of videos how much I'm really loving Scott Adkins. This is a great Scott Adkins movie. It's sort of a nostalgic sort of video game style movie with some cool like martial arts fighting from Scott Adkins. Really solid, man. Definitely check that out if you haven't, man. Pretty solid one there. Postcard Killings, Send It, Greenland. Here's the thing about Greenland. I actually heard they're making a sequel to Greenland. Yeah, they're doing a sequel to it. Like Gerard Butler's coming back, and I think the filmmakers behind the first one is coming back. It's kind of odd to me. When I heard they were doing a sequel to Greenland, I was thinking, really? I mean, I actually liked Greenland. I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't really think it needed a sequel. But a movie made decent amount of change, so I figured, why not make another one? I don't know. I mean, one sort of natural disaster flick at a time. Let's be real here. And I can only deal with so much natural disaster Gerard Butler experience. Let's put it that way. Look, the sequel could surprise me. I just didn't really think this movie needed a sequel at all. But whatever, we're getting one, man. All the same stuff over here. Bad Boys for Life as well. Yeah, a lot of the same similar stuff over here. And, of course, over there is the same indie titles that we've seen over and over again. Nothing new over there either. Yeah. You know how Walmart does it, guys. Of course you know how Walmart does it. Hey, at least we got to see something new and a cool stand at that point. So, hey, something's better than nothing. And with this Walmart, hey, I'll take it. Let's head out. So here I am walking into Walmart, guys. I'm coming in, and I come right to that section, the big new release section, and there is nothing. And I mean nothing to show off. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, they have nothing this week. And then I go over a little bit towards the electronics counter, and they have that Godzilla vs. Kong display, and they have the 4K, the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the Walmart exclusive. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, they have it. Lord, I was getting worried for a little bit that they weren't going to have it, guys. I was really worried about that. Because I'm like thinking, like, Godzilla vs. Kong is such a big movie. Why wouldn't they have it? And let's be real, if they didn't have it, that was going to be a major disappointment for me. I mean, come on, man. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong, every store should have copies of that, man. I mean, not much else physical media outside of that. I mean, no World Beyond, no Voyagers, or anything else for that matter. But at least they cleared the bar. The small bar of having the major new release this week. I can't really say I'm expecting much from this Walmart, but at least they cleared that one small little hurdle, and at least if that they did that, I can at least say they accomplished something this week, guys. I mean, it was a cool display, a lot of cool artwork, and a Walmart exclusive as well. So, can't say they're exactly wonderful this week, but hey, they did clear that bar, so you gotta give them some sort of credit, right? Sure. Well, at least we crossed that off of our list, at least showing it here at this Walmart. Let's hope more physical media love to come. Well, let's hope. All right, everybody, we are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. Now, I didn't find out about this until not too long back. However, people have known about it for at least a couple weeks. But where the hell have I been? Grindhouse Video is going to be closing its doors towards the end of this year. Now, don't worry, because the guy that runs and operates Grindhouse Video, he's leaving where he is in Tampa, Florida, and he's moving to Tennessee to be with his daughter, and he's going to open up another physical media store and website. So eventually, the guy who was doing Grindhouse Video will put out another site and another store, but after this year, he's going to, have to move and take time away, and he'll eventually be back. But I was thinking about something. Grindhouse Video is a very popular website for a lot of boutique label physical media love and sales, and it's a great home for physical media collectors to go and buy stuff with confidence, and stuff that you might not find other places, you'll find at Grindhouse Video. And there's not many places like Grindhouse Video. I mean, there's Orbit DVD, there's Diabolic DVD, there's a lot of the boutique label sites like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow, Severin, Shout Factory, you name it. But what if the guy from Grindhouse Video just decided, hey, I'm done? Right? I'm done. I'm out. No more. I call it quits. Because he's talked about stuff in the past about how he's, had issues with customers and people hassling him and complications and just kind of getting sick and tired of things. And, it's kind of interesting to me because is there a lot of money in it for these people to operate just on the physical media stuff alone? I think to a certain extent it is, but that window is shrinking. And what I mean by that is, would these companies love to make the same type of money that a Walmart or a Target or a Best Buy does? Abso-freaking-lutely they would, guys. But they don't. They really don't. And yes, there are popular movies out there. Yes, there's popular editions of films that, of course, they're selling that are going to sell out and it's going to make them bank. We know that. But there's a lot of stock that just sits. And he did talk about in that podcast where he announced all this stuff, he ended up saying, well, look, I may not carry a lot of the, titles that don't really sell. Yes, I'll carry the Vinegar Syndrome and Severin and Scream Factory, some of the stuff that I know will sell, but all of the smaller titles that aren't going to sell, there's no point in me really carrying that stuff because it's just going to sit. And it's interesting because physical media has been shrinking for a long time. It's very niche now. It's very much the collector market. Yes, you still have pockets where physical media still really sells, within the mainstream, but it's becoming, more tighter as years go by. And prices are rising, let's be real. And the eBay market is insane. I mean, you guys know that. And so it's boutique labels and these sites like Grindhouse Video and Orbit and Diabolic and their sales that really get us physical media lovers by. And that's why we buy a lot from them, because of good sales and good customer service for the most part. And just the idea that, there's enough of a sale and things to keep costs down enough where it's still worth it for us physical media lovers to buy the stuff. But what happens when some of these websites decide to just end and stop? What'll happen to the cost? Well, that means there's not as much stock out there. There's not as much ways to get it. And that will mean that prices will go up, most likely. And then if that means that there's not enough stock, that means that when it sells out, you have to go to eBay. And that means that you're going to have to pay even more crazy, exorbitant prices than you already are at this point. The thing about it is that there's going to come a time when Target is not going to carry physical media anymore. There's going to come a time when Walmart is not going to carry it, and Best Buy is not going to carry it. And it's going to be sites like Grindhouse Video and Orbit and Diabolic and a lot of those sites that are going to carry us physical media lovers through. It really is. And so I'm happy he's not leaving at the end of the day. I'm happy that he's sticking around. Yes, he's going to a different website. He's going to do a different store. Grindhouse Video is not going to really be a thing anymore. But the fact he's still going to be in the game. But there's few and far between a lot of these sites that you really trust. And what if they just went? How would you really get your physical media? Would you really trust Amazon 100% for all your physical media needs? I mean, maybe you'd have to, but with a lot of the experiences I had, I trust these indie labels more than I do the big company chains like Amazon. Especially when it comes to limited editions, collector's editions, stuff with slipcovers that you know needs to be handled in the right way. That's tough, man. That really is tough. Look, I think physical media, I don't say it's hanging by a thread, because I don't think it really is hanging by a thread, but at the same time, it's very vulnerable. With digital really taking a huge chunk of the entertainment marketplace, and with physical media being more of a collector niche where it's not as more mainstream as it used to be, there's few and far between of these sites that are actually selling the stuff that you want. And when one or two of them go away, that's a big deal, guys. That's a huge, huge deal. So remember that next time that you're buying from Orbit or Diabolic or, Grindhouse Video while it still lasts. Because when these indie sites are gone, it's going to get a lot tougher with physical media. And there's going to be certain editions that you just won't really find out in the marketplace. Prices are going to skyrocket, and the availability is just going to be a little bit more rougher. And it's sites like Grindhouse Video that keep it still running and maintaining and keeping physical media lovers like you and me still satisfied. So just remember that these indie websites really do play a huge part in the collector market, in the physical media game. And if they were to go, God, I don't know what would happen, guys. I seriously don't. I don't want to know, but one day it might be a reality. Who knows? I mean, definitely let me know what you guys think of that. I'm definitely curious to know. In the meantime, well, it's an okay release week. There's a few big name titles and indie stuff here and there. We only saw really one major thing at Walmart, but maybe, hey, we could see more at Target. You never know. Last week was definitely a surprise, and this week could be the same thing. But we don't know until we head in. So let's go in and check it out. All right, everybody. We are in at Target. And look, there's more than just one new release. Who'd have thunk, right? Yeah, who'd have thunk indeed. But Target apparently did. Let's dive in, shall we? With the first thing I'm seeing, they got the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital of Godzilla vs. Kong for $32.99. The Blu-ray DVD digital for $26.99. The DVD for $22.99. And they also have that 3-film collection set, but on Blu-ray instead of just DVD for $39.99. And have people just somehow forgotten about the 2014 Godzilla film? Because apparently they do not want to put it in the collection set here. It's only a 3-film. Apparently they're just skipping past that Godzilla movie. Can't quite say I blame them, guys. Yeah, it has its moments. It's not great though, but it's okay. So they do have that and all the variety as well. Now, this film is directed by Adam Wingard, and Adam Wingard is actually a pretty good director, all things considered. He directed one of my favorite horror films in like the last 10 or 15 years, and that is You're Next. You're Next is amazing. It's awesome. I love that movie. He also directed The Guest, which is really, really great as well. Really, really solid sort of horror type of thriller, just really good. Then again, he also directed that newer Blair Witch movie, which is not exactly the best movie in the world. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's done some segments on VHS and ABCs of Death and some other stuff. I mean, he's a good, decent director. I can see why they would get him for something like Godzilla vs. Kong. And the direction is pretty decent overall. The fight sequences are really well done. I mean, there's a lot to like here, but one of the things that he's really good at as a director is characters, unique and interesting characters that you get to root for or hate. And somehow that really passed him by in Godzilla vs. Kong. And I actually think it's a problem with all of the MonsterVerse movies, actually, except for Kong Skull Island, because the characters in Kong Skull Island I actually really enjoy. I think they're actually really good. I like them. Maybe it was the setting of being like the 60s or 70s and, not modern day characters, more of back in the day. But I like that sort of war setting, and I like that one a lot more. But if you go back to the 2014 Godzilla, if you look at Godzilla King of the Monsters and even Godzilla vs. Kong, you'll notice that the characters are very bland and they're very lifeless, and they really don't serve much other than to get in the way of the plot and the monsters fighting each other. That's really the only thing that they get in the way of. And I don't think they really ended up exactly cracking the formula of how to make interesting characters. And I don't know, I watched the movie and I remember back watching Godzilla and seeing Aaron Taylor Johnson in it and thinking, okay, he's a cool military dude, but it really has no point in the overall story. And then I'm looking at, obviously, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I'm like, okay, there's Millie Bobby Brown, Stranger Things Millie Bobby Brown, cool. And she's sort of swept to the sidelines and not really all that effective. And then I'm like, oh, she's coming back for Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, it's a character that I know. It's a character that maybe I can relate to, know a little bit about her story, and she is sidelined yet again. I think the problem with these monster movies in general is that it's hard to have engaging characters in them, but that's not entirely the truth, because if you look at the old school Godzilla films, like the Toho stuff, or stuff from really back in the day, or even some of the newer stuff like Shin Godzilla. If you look at that, I actually think there's some really unique and interesting characters that you kind of like and root for and enjoy watching. For some reason, the American versions can't seem to get that exactly right, and I don't know why. I don't know whether they just overcomplicate the plot, or whether they're just doing it with the monster stuff. I mean, then again, I guess the question is, can you really overdo it with the monster stuff? I don't think so, but sure, why not, man? But it's just, the problem is like, can you really just have a movie with monsters fighting each other? Because I look at something like Pacific Rim, right, and its sequel, and I say, okay, I like the big mech, suit, big robots versus sort of the kaiju. I like that stuff. It's cool. It's interactive, and it's almost like Rock'em Sock'em Robots or some shit. Like, it's cool. But then I look at the characters and I'm like, I could really care less about them, and I don't know. See, I wonder if you guys agree with me. Do you think like the biggest fault of monster movies in general is lack of good characters, or do you really not even care about that? See, for me, I kind of care about it, because if I'm watching a 2+ hour movie, I love seeing the monster stuff. I'm cool with seeing it. Great CGI, and I love them beating the crap out of each other. I think it's cool, but I want to root for somebody. I mean, if they got these characters in there, then have me give a shit in some way, but they just don't. I don't know, man. I mean, a monster movie is for the monsters fighting, but then again, if you're having these people act in the movie and giving them stuff to do, shouldn't they actually do something worthwhile in the movie. I'm at two odds of that one, guys. But I actually think that the MonsterVerse has kind of done it well to a certain degree. Like, again, I think they really did it well on Kong Skull Island, but I just don't think they were able to crack the code with Godzilla King of the Monsters or Godzilla vs. Kong or even the 2014 Godzilla. You know what Godzilla vs. Kong needed? It needed Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, come on. He instantly made Kong Skull Island infinitely more cooler. And let's be real, if Sam Jackson had said something about I'm sick of these motherfucking apes and these motherfucking Zillas, like, come on, you would have been into it. And on to another exclusive, guys. Nice. Target exclusive for Sicario for 1999. Target Steelbook love. Look at this. That's nice. Oh, that's a nice steel. I love that with Emily Blunt right there, and almost like some sort of like weird tree or something in back of her with like weird like dog like snarling and biting at her. Look at that. Yo, that's cool. Whoa. That's nice. Oh, look at that. Benicio and Brolin. Oh, oh my God. I love Sicario, man. I haven't seen it in quite a bit, but I did remember really loving it, man. Emily Blunt is fantastic here. Brolin is just very seedy and you know, you just don't quite know where his allegiances lie. But let me tell you who's the real star of this show, man. Benicio del Toro. Man, he shines in this movie. Obviously, he's a supporting player, but man, without him, this movie, I don't know what this movie would be, man. He is awesome. And I've always loved Benicio del Toro, man. I mean, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Traffic, and many, many others. He even did that movie. Oh my God, I forget the name of it, but he did that comedy with Alicia Silverstone way back in the day, man. That sort of like runaway comedy that I really did enjoy, man. I thought that was really good. He's a solid actor, man. I mean, he really did an awesome job in Sicario, and even in Day of the Soldado, like, he makes those movies. I mean, without Del Toro, they'd still be decent films, don't get me wrong, but they wouldn't be to like the caliber because he brings a certain gravitas to it, a certain sort of like unpredictability that you can't get. There's certain actors that can really pull that off, and Benicio is one of them, man. Oh my God, I love Sicario, man. This steelbook, ooh, I don't know about you guys, but for $19.99, that is quite a tasty steal. And then I'm seeing they have the Blu-ray DVD digital of Voyagers for $22.99. The DVD for $16.99. Now, I got a chance to check this out on Amazon Prime, guys, and I really didn't know much about this movie. I'm assuming this film was supposed to get a big theatrical release, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that pretty much was not going to be a reality. But hey, at least it eventually got a physical release, right? So that ain't half bad. I knew it was a space exploration film. I knew that Colin Farrell was in it, and I knew that Johnny Depp's daughter was there. That's what I knew. So I went into it pretty blind, man. Basically, what this movie is about the human population wanting to repopulate on another planet many, many, many years, you know, far away, like decades far away. And so they're raising these kids on this spaceship. Now, here's the deal about that, though. They're raising the kids on the spaceship, but those kids that are being raised on the spaceship are not the ones that are going to finish the mission. Their kids are, or their grandkids are going to. And so it's an interesting philosophical dilemma of raising kids in outer space, in the vastness of space, without the experience of the world with them, and the fact that they're sort of guinea pigs and that they're not going to see the end of the mission. They're almost like cattle in a lot of ways. And it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting idea. The problem is the movie doesn't really execute it all that well. And see, I'm gonna be real with you guys, man. See, I love a good thought-provoking sci-fi film. I really do. You know, movies like Solaris is fantastic, and a lot of other movies like that. And I thought Voyagers had the potential to be that way. Actually, it really did. The problem is that the characters are so unrelatable and unlikable, and you don't really even care for them. There's one character that you kind of feel for, that you kind of like. That character dies early in the movie, and then you're left with a lot of these teenagers, young adults that have the personality of a rock. Okay, they have the personality of a sitting rock. Actually, that's probably a bad thing, because the rock might have more personality, guys. I mean, I like the idea of them exploring sexuality. I like them exploring the idea of emotions and feelings, and how that can either become something that will turn you against people, or make you more sympathetic to others. And the fact that these people have been deprived of that, and the fact that they're starting to have all these emotions and feelings, and how it affects their journey going forward. I think that's all fantastic. And I think those are really great ideas. I just don't think the movie actually explored it to its full potential. I really don't. And I think that's the problem. I mean, the acting is fine for what it is. I mean, Colin Farrell, actually, I really like Colin Farrell here. Ty Sheridan, once he actually starts to have some emotion, is actually pretty decent. Lily Rose Depp, Lily Rose Depp is what she is, man. She's fine. I mean, she's actually really good as an emotionless human being. I'll give her that much. I mean, the other actors are fine too, but they're just kind of going through the motions. It's not that this movie is like really heartfelt or really powerful of a sci-fi movie. It's got its moments, and it's got some really philosophical ideas in there, and some thought-provoking moments, but it just doesn't go there the way I want it to, man. It just isn't as hard-hitting. A lot of the characters make really stupid decisions, and I just was watching the movie, and I just felt bored by it. Honestly, I really did. I was just watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, is this going to get more exciting? Is this going to get more interesting? Is Lily Rose Depp actually going to have some emotion? Spoiler alert, she really doesn't. But it's just not that great, man. It had some really cool ideas. I think the visuals are really cool. The spaceship there, which almost kind of looks like a lightsaber or some shit. I mean, that's pretty cool. The vastness of outer space and how it might affect you. There's so many ideas here, and there's so many things being thrown at the wall, kind of like spaghetti. It's just being thrown at the wall, and some sticks, and a lot of it doesn't. And as far as Voyagers is concerned, man, it really just ended up being a lame sci-fi attempt, which had potential but couldn't exactly pull the trigger. Shame, but there's more of these movies than I'd hate to admit. And now add Voyager among the pile. I mean, I'm still waiting for a day when I can actually say Lily Rose Depp actually had some emotion. I've yet to see it. And who would have thought that we'd see another rock dog? Seriously? The DVD for $14.99. Rock Around the Park. Oh, fantastic. Oh my god. Another rock dog. Seriously. Rock Dog 2. Oh my god, man. I remember when I saw the first Rock Dog doing the out and abouts, and a lot of you guys told me that Rock Dog was real dog shit. Pun totally intended. Like, a lot of you guys said, oh my god, that is a really bad kids animated movie. It's not good at all, man. But I gotta admit, like, I remember the voice cast in there being really good, like Luke Wilson and Matt Dillon was there, and a whole bunch of other actors was. Man, I'm like, wow, for a really good talent, Rock Dog apparently wasn't all that good, man. So I was kind of shocked to see Rock Dog 2 here, but sure, why not? 1 year after the events of the original Rock Dog, Bodie and his band True Blue have become locally famous in the village of Snow Mountain. They even have devoted fans, really devoted fans to their Rock Dog band. I wonder, do they sell kibbles and bits along with their T-shirts at the concerts? I just wonder, guys. Oh my God. But when a music mogul named gives them the opportunity to tour with pop sensation Lil Foxy, and fame comes at a price. Only by staying true to themselves can you unleash the power of rock and roll. Actually, you know what? I'm actually reading that synopsis, and you want to know what it actually sounds like? It kind of sounds like a little bit of the synopsis to Wayne's World 2. Like, I am dead serious. Like, Wayne's World 2, or even the first Wayne's World, of like, this music mogul, and the band like selling out and trying to stay true to themselves. Like, it kind of reminds me of that. So they literally took some of the elements of Wayne's World or Wayne's World 2 and wrapped it in a new Rock Dog movie? What? What the hell? Oh my God. And you want to know what? I'm even noticing here, looking at the cast, that they don't even have any of the same voice actors from the first film. They don't have Luke Wilson or any of the other ones here. I mean, geez, Rock Dog was so popular they couldn't even bring back Luke Wilson, apparently. Yeah, it wasn't all that successful, guys, and I'm having a feeling that this movie got made on the cheap. Like, seriously. I mean, if you can't even get Luke Wilson back, there's a problem, man. Yeah, I don't think it was all that successful. But apparently people were asking for a Rock Dog too. Yeah. Who'da thunk it? And last but certainly not least, The Walking Dead World Beyond. The Blu-ray of Season 1 for $23.99. Nice. Glad to finally see this. The end of the world was our beginning. I like that. Now, I heard that this show was going to be a thing. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't realize that it already did, but then again, I don't really keep up with The Walking Dead anymore, guys. However, I did end up watching the trailer to this and checking a little bit of it out through YouTube. And it's kind of interesting. So the concept of this is basically like a decade or so after the apocalypse started, the zombie apocalypse. Then now these young adults who have grew up in the apocalypse, it's just become sort of an everyday thing of deadly zombies and mistrust and deception and survival. And it's basically their journey to try to save some people outside of the community, and it's basically their journey of survival and trust and a hell of a lot of zombie death. Yes, indeed. I'm not gonna lie, I have been burned to hell and back with The Walking Dead. I really have, man. I mean, I stopped watching The Walking Dead back after season 7 or the beginning of season 8, somewhere around there. I just got sort of sick and tired of it. And a lot of people told me, oh, hey, it's actually gotten a lot better. You should get into it. Okay. Then when Fear the Walking Dead started, I watched sort of the first half of Fear the Walking Dead, and I didn't like it. I thought it was really boring. And then everybody said, hey, it gets better. And I'm like, okay. I don't know if I could dive into a third Walking Dead show. I don't know, man. I mean, I like the concept, and I like the fact that we've went into the future of the apocalypse, and the idea that it's still going on, and the idea that this is sort of a never-ending thing. It's not that there's going to be a cure or a solution to this. The fact that it's just something that they have to live with now is like an everyday thing. It's like driving, right? It's like an everyday thing that you just do, is survive against these zombies. And I like that idea. I like that concept of it. I just don't know, man. I mean, The Walking Dead, the original Walking Dead, is ending soon. Fear the Walking Dead will probably end sometime down the line, and we're just going to continue to get more of these Walking Dead shows. It's just going to happen. The Walking Dead is going to be around for a long time. I mean, when the nuclear apocalypse happens, when the nuclear fallout is over, there's going to be a few things that survive. There's going to be cockroaches, there's going to be Cher, and there's going to be more Walking Dead shows. I guarantee you guys, there is going to be, because they're always making more Walking Dead shows. It's a dime and a dozen. They're just doing more and more of them every single damn day. I just don't know. I like the idea behind it. I like the concept of the zombies and, of course, the communities. Stuff that Walking Dead was establishing, this really goes and sort of goes full throttle on, which I appreciate. I just don't know if I could really do more Walking Dead in my life. I mean, I've been disappointed so much with it that to go back to it, especially after I've been away for so long, is it worth it? Is it not? Man, do I really want to be disappointed a third time? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, you guys definitely got to let me know about that one, man. You really do. It looks cool. I like the cover, and it has an interesting synopsis and an idea, but I've been so disappointed by The Walking Dead. Is the third time really the charm? I doubt it. But let me know, guys. Actually, not bad this week. Some really interesting and solid physical media for Target. Not too shabby. Let's head out. Man, Target was clutch this week. I mean, really, it was. I don't know. I thought, well, it's not a huge physical media release. There's a big release, and then some smaller releases. But Target proved that you can still get in the physical media, even if it's just not as plentiful as other weeks. But man, they definitely showed that they can put out some physical media when they want to. All of the new releases, Steelbook exclusives, hell, they even have Rock Dog 2. And come on, I know you've been wanting it. You've been waiting. Come on, you didn't want Godzilla vs. Kong. You wanted Rock Dog 2. Come on. Oh yeah, you did. Heck, they even have over here, I noticed, they had the Blu-ray digital of the Indiana Jones 4 movie collection. I mean, of course, it's not 4K, but they do have it. I love the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, though, let's put it this way. I do not want Shia LaBeouf swinging on vines with CGI monkeys in my collection. Not gonna happen, guys. However, the others, they're really good. Oh man, they do have a lot of stuff this week. That's for damn sure. Way more than I was actually expecting, which was a nice pleasant surprise. And they still have, wait for it. They still have, that Psycho Steelbook that continues to haunt me here at Target every single week. And you want to know what they're actually having now, guys? They actually have the buy two, get one free sale. Should I? I want it. I so do. And now they've actually given me an incentive to buy the damn thing. And there's actually a few more releases that I'm actually interested in, I might want. It's wanting me to buy it, damn it. It does. Maybe I'll buy it this week. Maybe I'll wait. Stay tuned. But anyways, really great physical media here at Target. Who'd have thunk it that they actually have some solid physical media and a lot of variety and selection this week. I wasn't expecting it, were you? But hey, I'll definitely take it. Not half bad, guys. How about we head to the next location? More physical media love, hopefully, to come. All right, everybody, we are at our third location, the second Walmart. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles worth giving a look to. If there is, I will bring it back to Film Fan 108 HQ and show it off to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I got to talk to you guys about a trailer. Actually, it just dropped not too long ago, and that is The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, coming straight to Amazon Prime, baby. Actually, very soon, beginning of July, actually. And I have heard about this trailer. I've heard about this movie, and I finally got a chance to check it out. And my God, man, very interesting. Basically, from what I gather, at least from the trailer, it's these people coming from the future end up saying that there's this war with these alien creatures, and that people from the present, they are recruiting them to help fight in that war. And so Chris Pratt is one of those people from the present who is sent to the future to fight the war against the creatures. A little complicated, but sure. And so basically they're fighting these alien creatures and trying to basically figure out a way to prevent this war from ever have happened. And I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of time travel, a lot of action, a lot of creature goodness, and hopefully some really good kills at that, too. Look, I'm not going to lie, guys. This looks really good. Yes, it's a mixture between pulpy sci-fi fun and maybe a little bit of thinking man's science fiction at the same time. Kind of a mixture of both. I like Chris Pratt. Now, what I will say about Chris Pratt is that outside of the Jurassic World movies and outside of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he's not really a big star outside of those two movies. Those are franchises. He's been able to make a nice niche for himself, but he hasn't really proven himself outside of those two franchise series, to be fair. I think this is a really great way to establish him in an original movie, something that could show that he's a leading man, that he has that leading man charisma and status, and can do it outside of these sort of franchise type of movies. I think it could actually work really, really well. I think this movie was probably supposed to come to movie theaters, and the COVID pandemic and a lot of things went to streaming, and I'm assuming this one went to streaming as well. I mean, I like the action. It definitely reminds me in a lot of ways of kind of Edge of Tomorrow in a lot of ways, almost like they took the idea and sort of spun it in a slightly different way. I will also say I like the actual look of the creatures themselves. It almost looks like the Cloverfield monster, but a little bit more vicious and squished down in size. It kind of looks like that. It's interesting. I'm very curious about this movie, guys. I really am. I like a good pulpy science fiction tale, but I also like something that makes me think a little bit. Look, Edge of Tomorrow was amazing, and I love Edge of Tomorrow. Not every movie can be Edge of Tomorrow, and there are going to be a lot of movies out there that are going to be copycats, that are going to try to maybe be Edge of Tomorrow light, let's put it. This has the potential to be that. It has the potential to be a copycat, not as good, but at the same time, it has the potential to be a really fun, action-packed thrill ride that really gets you thinking about the possibilities of the future and time travel at the same time. It could be one or the other. I will say this. I like Chris Pratt. He's a good star. I like the tone between action and a little bit of out-of-place comedy. It has the potential to work. The potential. But just because you have the potential doesn't mean that you'll 100% work. However, hey, look, I'm willing to give it a chance. I like my man Chris Pratt, and I like a good sci-fi tale. So I'm gonna give it a look, guys. Honestly, I mean, I have Amazon Prime, so kind of a no-brainer that I'm gonna give it a look. But definitely let me know on this one. It's an interesting sci-fi tale that could be right down my alley. Could be right down your alley if you like these type of sci-fi films. But definitely let me know. In the meantime, well, I think it's about time to head into the second Walmart and see what goodies we might be able to find. All right, everybody. We are in at the second Walmart, and I'm going to be very honest with you. They have none of the new releases out this week. I mean, yeah, they have a standee for Godzilla vs. Kong, but outside of that, they have none of the new releases whatsoever. And I seriously mean that. In fact, if you actually look over here, guys, look at this. This whole area is like majorly bare. Look at that. Yeah, I don't know whether they're doing a massive reset of this whole department, but there's like barely any physical media around here whatsoever. I mean, there is not even anything in the $5 bin. That's completely empty. I have no idea what they're doing. It could be a complete and absolute reset. They're changing the shelving, all the physical media around. I have no idea. They're just changing it completely. And so they have none of the new releases other than GVK. That's it, guys. So, geez, I know there is some indie titles that came out this week, but where they are here at Walmart, well, your guess is as good as mine. So I guess there's really no point in sticking around at this second Walmart, considering that there's, well, barely any physical media to even look at. Yeah, kind of crazy. Well, let's hope they get this sorted out by next week. Well, let's hope, guys. Well, no physical media at this Walmart. Let's hopefully find more physical media elsewhere. All right, everybody, we are at our fourth and final location. And, you know, when you're on a physical media hunt, it should probably be required to go to Best Buy. I mean, it is the beast after all. Indeed it is, guys. And yeah, we are at our final location, and that is none other than Best Buy, the beast. Best Buy, baby. Yes, indeed, man. I gotta admit, it's been an interesting physical media week. Certain things where I thought we were gonna see a lot, not a lot. I wasn't prepared for some of the exclusives, some cool displays. There's been some interesting stuff time to time in other stores where I'm like, wow, it was really that plentiful. Shocker. So where will Best Buy fit into the equation? Well, maybe exclusives, maybe Steelbook Love, a lot of new releases, stuff we haven't seen yet. You never quite know until you head inside to the Beast. So let's see what the Beast has in store for us this week. All right, we are in at Best Buy under the new release section, and actually a few releases actually worth checking out over here, at least on this side, guys. The first thing I'm seeing is they got the Blu-ray DVD digital of Voyagers for $21.99, the 4K Blu-ray digital for $30.99. Very interesting. The same artwork too. Now, this movie is directed by Neil Burger. Now, if you don't know who Neil Burger is, he's directed some pretty good movies, actually. He's directed The Upside with Kevin Hart. He directed The Illusionist with Edward Norton. Actually, a really great magic mystery thriller movie. Quite enjoyed that one. That one's not bad. He also directed a movie that I really love with Bradley Cooper called Limitless. Have you guys seen that one with him and Robert De Niro? A really great one. That's an awesome movie. I love that movie so much, about a guy that takes this pill that makes him like super smart and everything, but he's like gets addicted to the drug. Like, I really like that movie a lot, man. He does some very interesting and unique movies that I actually really enjoy. And I was hoping Voyagers was going to be the same, but not really, guys. I'm not gonna lie, not at all. I mean, there's a lot of really good thought-provoking sci-fi out there. I mean, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Ad Astra, Solaris, even a movie like 2010 from, I believe, 1984 it was, around there. That's a really good one as well that I really, really enjoyed. Even a movie like The Space Between Us, which was interesting about a person, you know, he's this young adult that was born in outer space and, you know, hasn't been to Earth, and sort of the feelings that he has for this girl that he's Skyping who's on Earth. And it's a very interesting movie. I like thought-provoking science fiction. I really do. There's a lot of science fiction out there that really does embrace your inner mind and really gets you going on a whole lot of different ideas and thoughts. Even a movie like Total Recall that really does it. Of course, I'm talking about the Arnold version. and so much more out there. A lot of Star Trek is very thought-provoking as well, and I was really hoping for the same with Voyagers. I mean, you have a guy, Neil Berger, who does a lot of really great soul-searching movies, thought-provoking stuff, really gets your mind going, and this one had the potential. It opened the door, so to speak, but it just never quite was able to actually let you into it the way I think they were hoping for. I like the idea of exploring, obviously your inhibitions and sexual pleasure, and the idea that all of these things that have been repressed by this drug starting to really overflow and overwhelm you, and how you deal with that, or how it consumes you. I like that idea, I really do, but I just don't think the movie really presented it in the best way possible, guys. I really just don't. I mean, I'm curious what you guys think. What is some really great thought-provoking science fiction that really gets your mind racing, that really gets you thinking? I'm really curious to find out, guys. Voyagers had the potential, but it just wasn't able to seal the deal, man. It really wasn't. I mean, you get a lot of great special features. I mean, you get a ton of featurettes here. Wow, look at that. Yeah, a lot of featurettes and everything, especially for a, practically almost like a straight-to-physical media movie, more or less. Very interesting, man. I will say this much. I like the actors. I like the science fiction. I like a lot of what they were trying to go for. I just don't think the movie was able to pull it off the way it should have. I don't mind pulpy science fiction. I love pulpy science fiction. Something like Star Wars is amazing. I love that type of stuff. But I'm also somebody that really likes to be engaged with a movie and really think about it. And at first I thought the movie was going in some very interesting directions, and then once the character died, it ended up sort of turning on its heel, and what was supposed to be really cool and supposed to be very unique ends up turning out to be a little bit of weak sauce. I hate to say it, but it's honestly the truth, man. Voyagers, well, here's the thing about it, guys. You could have all of the best actors in the world, right? You could have all of the greatest actors, you could have all the great CGI effects you want, but if you don't have a really great story that really engages you, then it all falls flat in the end. I mean, not every movie can be The Martian, put it that way. And Voyagers tries to be something unique and interesting, but it honestly falls really flat in its face. Better luck next time, I suppose. Speaking of exclusive Steelbook love at Best Buy, another one for Sicario for $21.99. Look at this. Now, this is the 4K Blu-ray digital, where the one at Target was just Blu-ray, but look at that Steelbook. Holy shit, this one is even cooler. Holy fuck. Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the one at Target, but I also really like this one too. Look at that. Oh, that is sweet. Come on. That is awesome. I love that with the skull and the guns and sort of the vipers right there. Oh, look at that. Yo, that is amazing. That is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, man. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. This Steelbook gets me all kinds of wet. It really does. Oh my god, look at this. It's kind of weird, like, Target put out some exclusive Steelbook love, and now Best Buy's like, hold my beer. Oh, wow. This is so cool, man. Look at that. Dude, come on, you gotta love that Steelbook. That is sweet. Oh, that is sweet. Dude, that is all kinds of awesome, man. Oh, and now I just don't know which is the better Steelbook. Which is? You gotta let me know, guys. I'm torn. I love them both. What should I do? They still got one left of the limited edition Steelbook for The Sting, which I'm actually surprised that didn't sell out. They got that. They also have... Wow, they got more copies in of the exclusive Steelbook for Chaos Walking? Why? Why? Is it really going to sell? I guess we're about to find out, guys. I don't know. Why did they really have to do that? Are people really gonna buy it? I don't know. Well, we'll see in the next few weeks whether this damn thing sells or not. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. They do end up having that 4K Blu-ray digital standard edition for Last Action Hero for $22.99. Now, if you remember, they actually ended up having a Last Action Hero steelbook that they had for this, which I actually did pick up. I pre-ordered it. I'm so glad I did, because that thing goes for like mega money now, man. Like, people are like trying to find that thing. Like, it's all sold out. It really is. I mean, this is a cool 4K. It's cool. I like the image of Arnold badass with the gun and shit, but come on, that steelbook looks really sweet. The regular 4K looks okay though. No slip though, but great special features as well. Not bad. You know what? I really do like Last Action Hero quite a bit. I really do, man. I know it's one of Arnold's lesser movies. I know people don't really talk about Last Action Hero a lot. A lot of people don't even want to talk about Last Action Hero. I get it, guys. I do. You know what? Honestly, though, man, I think it's just pulpy fun. I like the ridiculous one-liners, the over-the-top action. I just like the idea of the concept of a movie lover going into the movie that he loves and experiencing it as almost like it's a real thing that's going on within the characters. I just love that. I thought that was a really cool concept that when I was a kid, I just ate that shit up, man. You know, I feel like Last Action Hero doesn't get a lot of love. I just don't think it does, man. I mean, there's a lot of bad Arnold movies, okay? This is not one of them. There's a lot of ones later on in his career as he got older which are not all that hot, but this one it's actually pretty good. If you guys sort of wrote off Last Action Hero, if you're one of the people that was like, oh, this is ridiculous crap, I don't like it, please give it another chance, because it is really fun at the end of the day, man. It really truly is fun, all things considered, man. It's not bad. It really isn't. And the regular 4K, if you can't find the regular Steelbook 4K edition, which I'm so glad I got, because that thing is all kinds of cool. If you can't, well, at least you can own it in the regular 4K. And some more badass Arnold one-liners in your collection? Can you really deny that? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. They actually have still a copy left of the Animal House Steelbook as well. Nice. I love that one too. And of course the regular 4K here as well. Not bad so far. Actually, some pretty cool stuff I'm seeing. Not bad so far for Best Buy. What will the other side have in store? And on the flip side here, guys, some more physical media to check out. Not bad, man. The first thing we're seeing here is the Blu-ray DVD digital of Godzilla vs. Kong for $32.99. The 4K for $32.99. Really? They're both $32.99? Seriously? I guess so. I mean, why not just get the 4K if it's both the same price? That makes no sense, but whatever, sure, fine. Jeez, it's kind of odd. But what they don't have, guys, is they don't have the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook for Godzilla vs. Kong. Unfortunately, they're all out, man. I don't know whether they even got many copies in, because my Best Buy doesn't really carry many copies of the new release Steelbooks. Very little, if any at all. And this one, I would imagine, probably went really fast. I mean, maybe we'll see it eventually down the road, but we ain't seeing it today, guys. Hate to say it. But at least we get to see the regular editions of Godzilla vs. Kong, and that's not half bad. Now, you do realize that Godzilla vs. Kong has fought before, haven't you? Yeah, if you remember that old school one, King Kong versus Godzilla, back in 1963, I believe, somewhere around there. Yeah, look, man, it's all kinds of cheesy and ridiculous, okay? There's people dressed up in, like, you know, rubber costumes, fighting with the monsters and everything. It's outrageous. It's cheesy as shit. It's ridiculous. But there's something about it that I kind of enjoy, all things considered. I mean, as just cheap and cheesy as it is, it's sort of that old school nostalgia of the rubber suits and everything that kind of gets me, to be fair, guys. But they have indeed fought before, and these are two mega titans of cinema history. More Godzilla, I would say, than Kong, but both of them have definitely shared their equal cinema love. That's for damn sure, man. I mean, I haven't watched all of the Godzilla films out there, to be fair. I have not, man. I mean, there's some that have really passed me by. Certain amount of the Toho ones I haven't watched. I've watched Shin Godzilla. I've watched some of the newer stuff. There is the ones that I really love. Like, I love the very first Godzilla movie, Gojira. I love that one. The black and white one. They made a foreign release, and then later on they made an American version as well. I actually like the original foreign one better, but they did make those. Of course, I am a big fan of the 1998 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick. I know I'm in the minority, but I really do enjoy that movie. Cheesy, and yes, Godzilla looks like absolute dog shit, but I still think it's a fun film regardless. I mean, just saying, man. I mean, Godzilla has been a titan of cinema for a very, very long time, and King Kong has had a lot of good stuff as well. I mean, I am a huge fan. Huge. One of my favorite movies of all time is the 1933 King Kong. I absolutely adore that movie. With the effects and the black and white, I think it's absolutely amazing, man. I think it's great. Of course, the 70s King Kong version I really love as well. You know, it's kind of interesting because I think... See, for me, King Kong hasn't had as many movies as Godzilla, but I almost feel like King Kong has been perfected better than Godzilla. Am I wrong in saying that? I kind of feel like it has, man. I mean, especially when I watched Kong Skull Island, I was like, this is amazing. I love Kong in there. I think I love the design of it. I love sort of the war setting and being on Skull Island itself. I thought it was really well done and well designed. I thought the movie was absolutely phenomenal, man. And I feel like the newer stuff for Godzilla, like King of the Monsters and the 2014 version, I don't think is really all that good. I didn't think it really impressed me. I mean, the design of Godzilla is cool, don't get me wrong, but I always felt like something was missing. The action wasn't as good, or I just felt something was off. I think this is probably the best of the new age Godzilla Kong stuff as of late. I mean, I like the fight sequences, I like the CGI stuff and everything. I don't think it's 100% perfected. I kind of feel like they're still trying to perfect Godzilla vs. Kong and the whole MonsterVerse thing. I think they're still trying to. They haven't quite 100% perfected it. There's still a lot of issues and problems and things that they could do better. But truth be told, they're getting there. It's slow but sure. It's not perfection, but it's as good as we're going to get for the time being. And you know there's going to be a rematch, right? You know. I mean, Godzilla just sort of slinks off into the water, going on his vacay, and, you know, Kong gets to hang out at Hollow Earth. And you know they're going to battle again. I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious that they're going to battle again, guys. It's a no-brainer. I do love a good versus movie. I will put it that way, man. If I had to say what my favorite was between King Kong vs. Godzilla, Alien vs. Predator, or Freddy vs. Jason, my favorite would be Freddy vs. Jason. I love that movie. I think it's awesome. Then it would probably be Godzilla vs. Kong, and then Alien vs. Predator, because that movie is really, really failed hard. And don't even get me started on AVP Requiem, or as I like to call it, AVP Rectum. Don't get me started, guys. This is definitely a pretty decent versus movie. Could have been better. There's elements that could have definitely been better, but it's a main event. Godzilla and Kong are badass, and the fight scenes do impress. As far as event movies are concerned, big blockbuster event films, matchup movies versus films, it's all around pretty decent. Ooh, you do get a lot. You get commentary by the director, a bunch of featurettes as well. Not bad, actually. Very nice. Look, if you're a Godzilla lover, this is probably a must-buy. If you're a King Kong lover, probably a must-buy, all things considered. But is this the last we'll ever see of Godzilla vs. Kong fighting? Come on. If there's money to be made, there's fights to be had. They also have that Blu-ray digital 3-film collection of GVK, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Kong Skull Island. They do have that for $44.99. They also finally got in that 35th anniversary Blu-ray digital edition steelbook style for Ferris Bueller's Day Off, $14.99. They didn't have it last week, so at least they got that one in. More John Hughes love is never a bad thing, guys. And then they also have a 4K Blu-ray digital of King Kong, the newer King Kong. Well, the one that came before Kong Skull Island, guys. They have the limited edition steelbook. Ooh, nice. For $22.99. Now, I actually used to own this on DVD. Remember they had that limited edition 3-disc edition that they had? I actually used to own that, man. I got rid of it a long time back, man. But yeah, I used to have that one. Now, I've always been kind of on the fence about this version of King Kong. I love the 33 version. I love the 70s version. And I've always been of two minds on this King Kong version. There's a part of me that really loves it. I really love the design of Kong. I love Skull Island and all the dangers that are there. Some of the acting is really good. I happen to really like Jack Black in here a lot, man. It's a very different role than he's used to playing, man. And I quite enjoy that one. But then there's other parts of it that I'm a little bit not quite sure of. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on Adrian Brody in the film. Naomi Watts isn't bad, but of course, she's no Fay Wray, that's for damn sure. And it takes a long time to get to Skull Island, doesn't it? I mean, it takes a long time. I mean, they spend a lot of time on the boat and the ship, and it's almost halfway through the film until we ever actually get to Skull Island, man. And I'm like, damn, dude, geez, it takes a while. I mean, I understand it because of the characters and developing everybody. I understand it. I get it. I don't know, man. I mean, I love the fact that Peter Jackson did this movie. He's actually wanted to make a King Kong movie for a very long time. In fact, truth be told, he was supposed to make a King Kong movie before the Lord of the Rings movies ever happened. He was trying to do it, and he had done like a whole concept art and pre-production on it and made models and all that jazz, and they ended up pulling the plug on him. They just ended up pulling the plug on Peter Jackson, and he couldn't really do what he wanted to do with it, and he thought, God, I built up all this sort of infrastructure and everything for, you know, making all the CGI and all the model stuff, and wow, why not do Lord of the Rings? And so he did that. So out of the failure of his first attempt at King Kong did become Lord of the Rings. So there is something to be said about that. But I don't know, man. I mean, I am a King Kong lover. I really do. I'm more of an old school King Kong fan than I am more of the new school. But that being said, I love Kong Skull Island, man. So, I haven't watched it in a really long time. So I might want to reinvest in checking this one out again. I might have to, guys. It's possible. Like I said, there's a lot that I do like about this movie, and I think the CGI is really well done. I like the giant dinosaurs and the creatures, and I love the kills, man. The kills are great. Man, there's that one where they go down into sort of that spider pit, and I think it was Andy Serkis. Like, he gets his head, like bit off or something by this, like, giant worm or some shit. Like, my God, man. It's great. Like, there's some really cool and interesting moments in the film, and I'll always love the ending with the tower and King Kong and and that, and I love it. And it's a more in-depth King Kong movie than the 1933 version, but I tend to like the 1933 version more. I don't know, it's just more classic to me. I like that a little bit more. I don't know why. More iconic, I guess. But I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've owned it. And I do love King Kong. And I think Peter Jackson, I think he falls short. I don't think it's actually a perfect movie, but he's a huge King Kong lover. And you can see the love that he has for the character. And it really does show. And guess who ended up doing the motion capture for King Kong? Mr. Andy Serkis. And he does a great job as well. So, not perfect of a King Kong movie, but I think it still deserves a place within the King's canon. I do believe it does, man. And what great special features as well. Look at that, man. Awesome special features. I haven't owned it in a long time. I got rid of that DVD edition, but might have to put it back in the collection 4K style. Ooh, I might. It's tempting, let me tell you. $22.99, that's not half bad, man. Ooh, and not half bad this week, all things considered. Look at this. Nice. Some cool stuff they got this week. Not everything, though. Not the Steelbook love for Godzilla vs. Kong, but we can't have everything. But we've had a decent amount so far. Let's see what else they got. And then over in the backside for the physical media love, well, not a lot of physical media love to be fair. There is a little bit, and let's be real, a little bit, well, in this case, does go a long way, guys, so we'll take it. Let's dive in, shall we? And the first thing I'm seeing is they have that 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital of Gattaca for $22.99. Now, this did get a 4K, well, a regular 4K release this week. They did, if you remember, had that really tasty Gattaca Steelbook that was really nice, man. I did pick it up because I'm a huge fan of Gattaca, man. I really wanted that Steelbook. But if you missed out on it, they do now have the regular 4K. And I gotta tell you, this is another one of those thinking man's science fiction films that I really do appreciate. It's very thought-provoking, man. This is another one of those sci-fi films that I would definitely think is one of those movies that really engages you, really engages your brain. And I really do love this one a lot, man. I mean, first of all, the acting is amazing. Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman, Jude Law, all absolutely fantastic here. Amazing. And I also really love the idea behind the movie, the idea of because of where you were born and your blood, the idea that you could be denied privileges in life and be an outcast to society, and it's only people of sort of a certain type of blood and pure blood and pure genetics that could get through. And the idea that Ethan Hawke wants to be better, he wants to push himself and be a better specimen of a human being, and that he cheats the system in order to do it. Is it the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? Are rules meant to be in place for a reason, or are rules meant to be broken? I really love Gattaca a lot, man. It just has so many great ideas and moments, and it really does make you think and really opens your eyes to the possibility of the future and the haves and the have-nots. What an amazing movie that I love, man. Gattaca is fantastic. I mean, again, I already own the tasty Steelbook, but if you have not checked out Gattaca before, I mean, for $22.99, some really great sci-fi goodness to dig into. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, come on, man. And some really great special features as well. Not half bad, man. There's a lot of really great science fiction out there that really engages your brain. And you want to know what? I would say put Gattaca on that list, because I do think it's one of those ones that really is one that really makes you think about science fiction and the future of science fiction. And you want to know what? If science fiction can engage you the way this movie does, then I consider that a win-win. And then I'm seeing they have the Blu-ray of SAS Red Notice for $16.99 with Andy Serkis and Ruby Rose. Yes, Very nice, man. Now, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime. All 2+ hours of SAS Red Notice. I was not expecting this thing to be over 2 hours long, man. It's a lot to take in, to be fair. It really is. But I actually really enjoy it, man. Basically, it's about this train that gets hijacked by this war criminal played by Ruby Rose, and this guy who used to work with her, and basically he's caught in the crossfire and he's trying to stop her. That's pretty much the basis of this movie, guys. And I went into this movie not really knowing much about it, but I was like, okay, it's probably a straight to Blu-ray DVD movie. It's got Ruby Rose in it. It's probably not going to be that good. I was prepared, okay, guys. And yes, it is a long movie. It's a very long movie. It doesn't need to be 2+ hours long, okay? It's overstretched. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it is really overstretched. It doesn't, I mean, you could at least take in at least 20 minutes, if not more, out of the movie, and I don't think you would have missed a damn thing. To be fair, I don't think you would have, guys, but I figured, why the hell not, man? I'm gonna give it a go, and I was so pleasantly surprised by Red Notice. I'm serious, man. Like, I was like, this thing's gonna be dog crap, and actually, it's brutal. The action is pretty damn good. I like the characters. There's people you can root for. There's people that you literally hate and want to see have very brutal and deadly deaths. I really did enjoy that one quite a bit, man. I'm shocked. Like, look, like there's that opening sequence where like Ruby Rose is badass and she's like with a flamethrower and people are on fire and they're shooting civilians and they're like evil people, and I'm like, oh my god, like Ruby? Like, oh my god, what happened to you, Ruby? I'm like, oh lord, man, I'm not gonna fuck with this chick. Like, it was great. And then when they hijack the train and the hostages and killing people, and then the action, people getting the shit beat out of them, and all the double crossing, like, I really did like Red Notice. I'm actually incredibly shocked by that, guys. I mean, it's not the most greatest action movie you've ever seen in your life, but I mean, hey, it is better than Under Siege 2. So, I mean, I would rather have Ruby Rose hijacking the train than Steven Seagal trying to rescue one. Put it that way, man. I'd rather see that shit. Wow, man, this was wild. I was not expecting how good this movie ended up being, and it really surprised the hell out of me. Truly, truly did. Man, what a wild, interesting surprise. And Ruby Rose at that. She played an effective character. She was badass in the movie. And I've told you guys before that I'm not the biggest fan of Ruby Rose. I don't think she's really that great as a leading lady, and sometimes the action she does isn't the best. She's kind of failed a lot of the time, more than actually succeeded. However, she plays a really great villain. I mean, John Wick Chapter 2 pretty much proves that, guys. But here, she's effective, she's badass, she's dangerous. I really thought she was awesome here, man. And even Andy Serkis in a small role is really menacing as well. This is a surprise, guys. I was not expecting how good SAS Red Notice was. But, you know what? If you're looking for a good little action yarn, I mean, yeah, 2 hours, but honestly, you might come away being surprised. I mean, I sure was. And then they have the Blu-ray of Kindred from IFC Midnight from 1799 and Scream Factory. Haha, nice. I really love that with the pulpy red and like the baby. Oh my god, and the crows. Oh, evil is on its way. Oh baby. Now, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, okay? And I don't know, man. I don't know what I was really expecting with this one. I really wasn't. I was looking at the synopsis. I'm like, okay, like her husband or boyfriend ends up dying, and like she's taken in by his family, but then they're like really obsessed and they're sort of locking her in and controlling her and want the safety of the baby. And I'm like thinking, what's going on here? It's like, is it like a demon spawn baby? Like, that's where I thought it was going, actually, guys. I was ready for the baby to come out of her vagina and suddenly be like, I will be your doom. Like, I was ready. I was like, oh my god, what's coming out of her vagina? And actually, it's so not that. It's not. I mean, it has shades of Rosemary's Baby, but it's not really Rosemary's Baby. I like the idea that the family is very controlling and possessive, and at first it comes off as they're trying to be kind and trying to be nice, and then it turns into like obsessive, and it turns into like controlling, and suddenly you're there like, what are these people's intentions? What do they want? And you're thinking, is she paranoid? Is it all in her head? Are you paranoid? Like, are you messed up in the head? Like, what's going on here exactly? And it's a really twisted and interesting tale, man. I really like this one quite a bit. I thought it was really solid. I really did, man. It's definitely one of those paranoia yarns, I would say. You're always sort of looking around the corner and she's always trying to like find people that will believe her. You gotta believe me. These people are gonna do this to me. They're holding me hostage and captive, and like nobody believes her, and everybody is going back to the family, and she's just slowly losing her mind, man. And the interesting thing about it is that, when I was watching the movie, at first I wasn't really liking the main chick in here. I mean, I didn't hate her or nothing, but I thought, I mean, yeah, they're kind of weird and everything, but come on, you're just overdoing it. They're trying to protect the baby and everything, and I was like one of those like people like in the community. I'm like, oh, you're not paranoid. I'm one of those people. But at the end of the movie, man, when something happens, I'm like, oh, fuck. God damn it. I'm like, at first you're thinking they're nice people, and then maybe it is all in her head, and then when it is revealed of what really is happening and the fact that they're really doing something insidious, you're thinking, oh my god, I feel so bad for this woman that is now completely fucked. Wow, this movie had me. I can't say it's the most perfect movie. Yes, it's a little bit like Rosemary's Baby, but I think Rosemary's Baby is much better. It's trying to ape off of those type of films, those type of paranoia movies with your baby. What are these people up to? Good, bad? What intentions do they have? I like that idea around it. I don't think it's 100% effective because I don't think the main chick is extremely likable. And I think at times you're rooting against her. And you actually kind of like the people that turn out to be evil, which is kind of twisted at times. Like you actually side with the evil people. Oh no. Yeah. Sometimes you do. You don't want to, but they are nice. That doesn't give them the right to do what they did, but I'd sit down and have tea with them. I mean, come on, man. Oh Lord. It's an interesting, twisted tale that takes a while. It's a slow yarn. It takes a while to really develop itself, but when it does, it's actually pretty well made and really effective. So, if you're interested in sort of Rosemary's Baby offshoots, this one might be worth actually sort of giving a look to, I would say. Very interesting, man. A little fascinating paranoia tale where you actually like the evil people more than the actual leading main nice chick. You may feel bad about it in the end, but, you would have a nice pleasant dinner with them. Come on. You would. Oh, Lord. I feel so sorry. You didn't deserve anything that you did, lady, but they're just too nice of people. Come on. Oh, they are indeed, man. Interesting selection of stuff, man. I mean, not half bad. Some interesting stuff on the bottom still. Castle Freaks, Snake Eyes, Mortuary Collection, Of course, they still have some copies of Smoking the Bandit Love, more spare parts, which I actually really did like this movie. I thought it was really solid. Assault on VA-33. They even have copies of the Blu-ray of The Unhealer, just not bad. They did get some of those copies in as well. Not half bad, all things considered. Not crazy plentiful, but not too bad either. Kind of enjoyed it, all things considered. Some pretty decent physical media love this time around. Hey, I'll take it. I actually think, guys, that this week is not too bad here at the Beast. I mean, it's not like, like Best Buy delivered level. It's not that, but it was almost close. I mean, had they had the Godzilla vs. Kong Steelbook, it would have been quite good this week. I mean, they didn't have everything. I mean, they didn't have, Walking Dead World Beyond, and, of course, they didn't have Rock Dog 2, which I know you were expecting Best Buy to carry it. Come on, you were. And they didn't have some of the other new releases this week, but they had a plenty of exclusive love, even without Godzilla vs. Kong Steelbook. And they had the 4K upgrade, and they had some of the indie titles we hadn't seen. So, truth be told, Best Buy actually did a pretty decent job, all things considered, man. I mean, I go into Best Buy now, and I'm always like, I don't know. Is Best Buy going to be good? Is Best Buy going to be bad? It's turning into a little bit of a gamble, dare I say, when it comes to physical media. And sometimes I think, oh man, we are really going to be in for one hell of a drought. But this week was pretty good, all things considered. I think they were practically mostly on par with Target, maybe even surpassed it a little bit. Not bad for the Beast. I can't say every week is going to be good, guys. I mean, come on. There's still a lot of empty stuff here. Okay, there is. But with that being said, though, guys, when they do a good job getting the new release love in and getting a lot of great additions in, they do a really good job. I just wish it was a little more consistent, but easier said than done. However, look, I will take it. Any great new release love, any great physical media week, or at least decent physical media week from Best Buy, I will definitely take. So this week turned out to be pretty decent, all things considered, guys, I would say. I don't know whether you agree, but look, hey, there has been weeks where we've only seen maybe one or two releases here at Best Buy. So, hey, be thankful we got what we got, guys, okay? To be fair, man. I can't say next week is going to be really good, but hey, at least we have one good physical media week, at least for the time being. And hey, as a physical media lover, I will take all the physical media love that I can get. That's for damn sure, guys. And I know you definitely agree. Alright, not bad. Not too bad at all, especially for the Beast. Lord knows they're not the most consistent anymore, so hey, I'll take it. Alright, let's head home and finish the video. Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And it was kind of interesting, wasn't it? Because it actually ended up being a pretty basic, easy-going out and about this week. I mean, there wasn't a tremendous amount of media that came out this week, but I mean, we only got to see, major King Kong and Godzilla stuff at Walmart. We saw a ton of stuff over at Target. We saw nothing over at the second Walmart. I don't know what they're doing exactly. A whole reset, changing things up. I have no idea, guys, but stay tuned. I guess we'll find out about that one. And then we found a decent stuff over at Best Buy. So, I mean, overall, we saw pretty much most of the new releases, most of the stuff out there, but it was just kind of interesting to me, man. It was just really interesting of like, okay, I guess, it was just an easygoing, basic physical media day. Not too many places that had a lot of stuff, but what we did see was definitely plentiful at the stuff that we got to see it in. So I'll definitely take it, man. Hey, yeah, not every store has to be crazy plentiful, but as long as we see most of the new stuff this week, Hey, I'll take it, man. So, yeah, it wasn't half bad, guys. I mean, hopefully you guys picked up something good. I mean, there was a decent amount of stuff. Probably stuff maybe you haven't picked up yet. Maybe you saving your wallet for certain sales coming up. Definitely let me know, guys. As far as I'm concerned, well, let's get into what I got, shall we? Now, at Best Buy, I ended up pulling the trigger and picking it up, and I did the 4K Blu-ray digital of King Kong, baby. Yes, I did. Now, I I wasn't sure whether I wanted this back in the collection or not because out of all of the King Kong movies that I have seen that I really like, this movie is not exactly high on the list. I think I like the 70s version better. I definitely love the 1933 version. I think Kong Skull Island is amazing. This one has a lot of faults to it, but I do remember liking certain things about it, so I was like, oh, as a King Kong lover, I gotta represent all things King Kong. So I figure, why not, man? So I have the 33 version, I have the 70s version, I have the new school Kong Skull Island version, and now the early 2000s version. Why not, guys? Makes a lot of sense. How about we open this sucker up? But I was on the fence. I mean, I do like things about it. Like I said, the design of Kong I really like. I think Jack Black's really good here. I really honestly do. I think Jack Black's fantastic. Adrian Brody, whatever. Naomi Watts is good, but she's no Fay Ray. Let's be real. Oh, nice. Look at that. Ooh, very nice. Look at that. Ooh, nice. And then on the back. Great. Oh, awesome. Yeah, nice. Look at that. Cool. Awesome, man. That is pretty damn sweet. Okay. So now I'm representing everything Kong. Okay, I'll do it. Hey, I love King Kong. So if I gotta represent, I'll represent, guys. Why not, man? This one was good. And I haven't had it in the collection in a long time. Like I said, I used to have that 3 disc deluxe edition that they had like years and years and years ago on DVD, and I got rid of that because I wasn't really feeling the movie. But yeah, 4K upgrade, why not? I'll do it. So picked up King Kong. Now I actually was going to pick up one of the Sicarios this week, but I didn't know which one I wanted because both of the artworks were really cool. I really liked them, but I was so on the fence. I kind of like the one with Emily Blunt on the cover. I kind of do. And I was thinking about getting that one because I could do that. I could also pick up that Psycho Steel book. And there's another release that I could get. And they have that buy two, get one free. And so I was really thinking about that, guys. You guys are going to have to let me know whether I should pull the trigger on that. I think both artworks are really cool, but I was kind of leaning towards the Emily Blunt one. I don't know, man. Maybe I might go back and get them. I might definitely let me know about that, guys. But the rest of what I picked up, I also ended up finding the Blu-ray of Spare Parts. Now, I really like this movie a lot. And I know there are certain people that don't really like this movie. They don't really think there's much to it. I think it's really great. I thought it was a really good, gory, fun time. It was something that I felt 31 should have been. Like when I watched 31, I really didn't like, a lot of the characters, and I just kind of didn't really care for anybody. Here, I actually kind of like these characters. I I understand what they were going through. I understand that these were tough, badass chicks that were put into this crazy wild situation. I think this is what 31 should have been. Put it that way, man. And so I really dug it. And it definitely has a punk rock grindhouse feel to it. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, mind you, everyone had the DVD, so I had to go through Orbit DVD to get this. But I wanted it. I wanted the Blu-ray, so I'm damn glad that I finally got it in the collection, guys. I got that. I also ended up, I actually, I ordered, well, I should say I pre-ordered a couple of steelbooks from Best Buy. They were actually supposed to be for in-store pickup, but apparently Best Buy didn't get any last week, and so they ended up just sending them to me from bestbuy.com. So, hey, however they were to send it to me, at least they sent it. And the first one I got is the 35th anniversary edition of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yes, I got this, guys. I am so happy to get this, and this is definitely an upgrade in the collection because I used to have the DVD. I've never owned any of the Blu-ray editions. I've only owned the DVD edition, and so when they announced this, I was like, "Oh, this has got to be mine, man." I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I think this movie is awesome, absolutely fantastic. Think it's really amazing. Really do. And it's just one of my favorite Matthew Broderick movies. It's got some great one-liners in here, and I just think it's a very fun movie that you can watch when you're an adult, you can watch when you're a kid, you can just relate to it in so many different ways, and I love this movie, man. And so to get the Steelbook of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the Blu-ray in the collection, I'll take it, guys. I will indeed, so I got that. Now, obviously, that's not the only 35th anniversary love that I did get, guys. I also ended up getting the anniversary edition of It's Some Kind of Wonderful, yeah, she is, baby. It's some kind of wonderful, yeah. Yes, I picked up Some Kind of Wonderful. And oh my god, I have never actually had Some Kind of Wonderful in the collection. I have never had a DVD edition, never had a Blu-ray edition, never ever had any editions of it. That's corrected now, guys. I really do like this movie, man. What really great actors in here, and I just love the direction of it and the script. I love that. I mean, even a great line like this, "You look good wearing my future." I love that. I love that so much. And I really do like Eric Stoltz, man. I really do. I think Eric Stoltz is one of those actors that, had some really good moments in his career. Like he had those certain moments in his career where he was just on the precipice of being the guy, and he never was able to quite get there. But I really loved some of his stuff. Movies like this, The Fly 2, which I really enjoy as well, and some of his smaller roles. I've always enjoyed the guy. I really have. Of course, Leah Thompson. My God, talk about like 80s Leah Thompson. I mean, Back to the Future, Howard the Duck, you name it. I mean, I love her. It's so good, man. And I thought this steelbook looked absolutely amazing. I love the artwork. I thought I had to pick this up, dude. So I did. I pulled the trigger on Some Kind of Wonderful. I mean, can you really blame me? And then I also picked up some Kino Lorber through Diabolic DVD. And I got the comedy CB4, the movie. Oh, I definitely wanted this one, guys. I remember when this came out years and years ago. And Chris Rock was really such a up-and-coming comedian and still actor at that moment in time. And it was really one of those movies that I think it was a cool little sort of spoof, and I think people really embraced it for the humor it had at the time and some of the sort of stereotypes that it was trying to sort of ape off of. I think people did. I don't know if you could technically make this movie nowadays exactly. See, there's certain movies out there that I have in the collection that I'm always saying to you guys, there is no way in hell that this movie would ever get the attention that it did back in the day. Or even, even let it fly. Like, audiences would let this stuff fly. I guarantee you that people would be up in arms about stuff. This is one of them. I mean, maybe they were up in arms years ago. I'm not quite remembering that one. But, I mean, I just don't see movies like this really happening any longer, man. I mean, yeah, they make movies like Meet the Blacks now or something. I mean, you know, stupid comedies that really don't even have any sort of real cultural impact or don't really say anything about society. They just are there to just be goofy for the sake of being goofy. CB4 actually had a little bit more than that, and I really appreciated it. And it was really at the time when some of these ones were really coming out, like CB4 or Friday, stuff like that, that really was really speaking to a certain amount of people, but yet it was sort of fun and playful, and you didn't have to take it completely seriously either. I really do like CB4, man. And I haven't seen it in a long, long time, but I really wanted to get it in the collection, and I am very curious to recheck this out. God knows it's been a long ass time, but I mean, I can't say I love everything Chris Rock, but a lot of the early Chris Rock stuff I really enjoy, man. So I had to give CB4 another chance. I had to, man. So why not get more CB4 love in the collection? Why not? I also ended up actually through Orbit DVD ended up picking up some Arrow love, and that is none other than Maniac Cop. Yes, look at this, man. Look at Maniac Cop, baby. You have the right to remain silent forever. Yes, I love this, man. I love this so much. This is so good, man. Now, the reason why I picked this up is because I heard that Blue Underground is going to be releasing Maniac Cop 2 and 3 on 4K, and I kept on thinking to myself, wait a minute, what about the first Maniac Cop? Are they really going to release that on 4K? And I believe Blue Underground does not have the rights to the first Maniac Cop. I'm almost certain about that. And I was like, I don't know if that's ever going to get one. But I was looking up. I said, "Oh, is there any great special edition out there?" And I'm like, "Oh yes, Arrow has one." And I was like, "Wow, I didn't really know Arrow ever did one for Maniac Cop." So I had to get this, man. I really love this. I mean, Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, Robert Zadar, man. Oh, it's good. It really is good. I really love this a lot, man. And to get more Arrow love in the collection, not half bad. Not half bad at all, man. I also, through Orbit DVD as well, also picked up two collector edition releases that I believe are out of print. Actually, the slips, I believe, are out of print. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give these ones a buy because they had them with the slips and I really wanted them. The first is the collector's edition, Scream Factory edition of Raising Cain. Yes, I am me. I am him. Oh, baby, do I really love Raising Cain, man. Look at that. Cool art right there. And on the inside, look at that. Oh, so cool. I love this, man. I think this movie is really, really underrated. It's an underrated Brian De Palma film. It's an underrated John Lithgow movie. I really love this one quite a bit. I think it's great. I really do think it's honestly fantastic. I love this movie so much, man. And I think for me, it's creepy. It gets under your skin, and I love the sort of different multiple personalities. This was Split before Split was Split. You know what I mean? And so, like, when everyone says Split is amazing and it's genius and it's original, I'm like, wait a second. Raising Cain, anybody? Nobody remembers it. But when Scream Factory released this, it was like so awesome that they did, and I just, it was one of those releases that I wanted, but I never actually pulled the trigger on, and now I was like, oh my god, I think it's out of print, and the slipcover is unavailable, and I'm gonna go on eBay and play this crazy wild game of, how much money am I gonna pay for this damn thing, but Orbit had it for a great price, so I ended up picking it up, man. I do love this. It comes with the extended edition and the theatrical edition. I actually picked the extended edition because I think it delves into characters a little bit more. It's recut in a better way, I think. I do really love Raising Cain. If you ever get a chance to watch this, do. It's pretty good, actually. And then last, but certainly not least, guys, is the Vestron Collector's Edition release of Blood Diner. Yes, look at that. First they greet you, then they eat you. Yeah, so a little I don't know. I'm a meat lover, but there's only a certain amount of meat that I'll actually have, guys. I stop at human flesh. I know some people prefer it. I'd go vegetarian if that happened. I would, man. But yes, Blood Diner, and I believe this is. If it's not out of print, then I believe the slip is very hard to find, if I'm not mistaken. And Orbit had it for a really great price, and I had to pull the trigger on this. Now, I've actually never seen Blood Diner. However, the same director, the same female director that directed this movie, also directed The Being. And I really love The Being. And I was like, oh my god, I really have to get this. I totally forgot about Blood Diner. You know, when you're a physical media collector, you're going around, you're buying all kinds of stuff for the collection. You know, this label is releasing this stuff, label is releasing that stuff, and there are certain titles and certain editions that sort of pass you by. There's certain things out there that you're like, oh my god, like I wish I would have bought this one or that one, or I've been saving money for this, and you completely forget stuff. This is one of those ones that looked really interesting at the time, and I was like, oh, right, Blood Diner. I don't know about that one. And I kind of just passed me by. And then I was reading things about it, and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. And I was looking the trailers up, and I'm like, oh, I can finally want to pick it up. And now it's probably out of print, and I can't get the slip. And, goddamn. But I was like, okay, if I can't do that, maybe I can find it through other things. Diabolic didn't have any, and there's other places that didn't have any. And I'm like, maybe Orbit will, and Orbit did. They actually had it, and I was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna pick it up, man. It looks wild. It looks really weird and bizarre and ridiculous and over the top, but you want to know what, man? The same chick that did The Being, I'm gonna give this a chance. Why not, man? So I definitely picked this up last, but certainly not least, man. And as far as my pickups this week, not gonna lie, from Steelbook Love to Upgrades, Arrow, Scream Factory, Vestron, Kino Lorber, I think I did my due diligence this week, guys. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about a very interesting article that I just saw. How Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock may determine Hollywood's future. Very interesting, guys. Sony announced yesterday that it would be releasing Bullet Train on April 8th, 2022. The adaptation of Kotaro Asaka's novel concerns 5 assassins who end up on the same train and realize their respective assignments are connected. It's directed by David Leitch, and the film stars Brad Pitt, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Masaki Oko, Michael Shannon, Lady Gaga, Logan Lerman, and a hell of a lot more people. The new to you adaptation will open just 1 week before Paramount's The Lost City of D. That outright original adventure comedy starring Sandra Bullock as a romance novelist and Channing Tatum as her cover model will open theatrically on April 15th. Now, thus the two old school star concept studio programmers, both featuring proven butt-in-seats movie stars, and from the two studios who most explicitly made their fortune and glory from star vehicles and high concept just a movie star movies, may represent the last stand for conventional theatrical movie-going. They go on to end up saying, Netflix now floods their subscribers with films that attempt to approximate the old school programmers. Yet even streamers are stressing IP for the sake of IP. And big-scale fantasy shows in search of the next Game of Thrones, like The Queen's Gambit. We have had hope for the future success stories like Baby Driver, Crazy Rich Asians, and Knives Out. However, audiences spend more of their annual movie-going dollar on a smaller percentage of theatrical releases. The top 6 movies in 2018, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Incredibles 2, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Deadpool 2, and The Grinch, earned 2.99 billion, that's with a B, or 25.5 of the total domestic box office versus 16.9% in 2011. For every new to cinema franchise success like The Meg, there are a dozen Warcraft, Mortal Engines, or Alita style misses. For every A Star is Born, there is First Man and Widows falling to justify the babysitter. Even in late 2015, we saw one big four-quadrant adult-friendly blockbuster like The Martian, running the tables for most moviegoers who went to the theater maybe once a month. By 2016, Captain America Civil War had cemented the notion of seemingly kid-targeted biggies as true adult-friendly choices, leaving Money Monster and the Nice Guys fighting for scraps. By 2018, Black Panther steamrolled adult-skewing biggies like Annihilation and Red Sparrow and other would-be event movies like A Wrinkle in Time and Pacific Rim Uprising. By 2019, the acclaimed Elton John biopic Rocket Man couldn't quite crack 200 million because even the grown-ups were getting their musical fix from Disney's Aladdin. The last 1.5 years have, of course, made the situation worse, with theaters closed for most of 2020 and mainstream theatrical movies only starting to return to cinemas. There's little reason not to presume that the emphasis on theatrical moviegoing for event movies is going to get any better. Event movie usually means Marvel, DC, or a handful of vibrant franchises like Jurassic World or the Fast and the Furious saga, James Bond, Mission Impossible, stuff like that. We see that audiences are willing to show up for Godzilla vs. Kong, but are still hesitant for new franchises like Mortal Kombat, or past their primal fare like Spiral, and non-franchise flicks like In the Heights. The pandemic may have hastened the darkest timeline scenarios where only the biggest and safest commercial movies get a conventional theatrical release. At the same time, everything else goes straight to streaming. At best, a token theatrical run before streaming or even PVOD at this point. What drives that mean for the above-noted starter-driven studio programmers? Well, there was a small pattern, one just vibrant enough to offer hope. Between 2017 and 2019, we did see more than a few old-school movies breaking out under specific circumstances. Audiences will still show up for big movie stars, rave reviews, strong plot, high concept, marquee directors, and or promise of a cinematic good time. The inclusion of all or most of these elements gets you, relatively speaking, a Knives Out, a Little Women, Ford vs. Ferrari, Girls Trip, Us, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, A Quiet Place, Baby Driver, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Greatest Showman, Wonder, Dunkirk in 1917. The question is, A, to what extent The Lost City of D and Bullet Train contain most of those elements, and B, if that still matters in a post-COVID movie-going experience. Optimism says that Bullet Train, with a well-known director and ensemble cast, is still a hook for people. Optimism says that The Lost City of D contains at least 4 of those elements. I mean, Brad Pitt brought the audiences to the fun Quentin Tarantino joint, and of course we have people like Sandra Bullock, who has brought in a lot of moviegoers to movies that may not have been most high profile, but people wanted to see her. However, it's not right or fair that these films, ironically from the studios most battered by the movie stars don't matter beyond propping up IP, New Normal are essentially holding the future of conventional theatrical moviegoing in their hands. Bullet Train and The Lost City of D are films that on paper would have been massive hits in a less IP-centric era, and still might have been solid earners in a pre-COVID time. So I'm not thrilled that they are opening on top of each other alongside DreamWorks' The Bad Guys and Paramount Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If they both score, it might be the great hope we need that the old school movie might survive. If not, we'll affirm that movie theaters are about to become the new video game arcades. Viable only for the most significant, you can't get this at home immersive experiences. At the same time, everything else is destined for streaming, VOD, or non-existence. So the real question is, what does this mean exactly for the little guy, let's say? Because we know for 100% certain, guys, that Godzilla vs. Kong, a Star Wars movie, Avatar, James Bond, Jurassic World, you name it, those are coming to movie theaters. Those are movie experiences, blockbusters, immersive stuff that you dive into, you want to see it on the big screen. But what about the smaller films? I mean, think about this. I look at movies back in the day like Sling Blade or The Full Monty or even a movie like The Blind Side. I mean, those are movies that caught on with audiences. They were small films, they weren't big, immersive budget films, not blockbuster movies, but they caught on with people. It was word of mouth, it was going to the movie theater. That is so rare nowadays. That rarely happens anymore. And a lot of these films are going straight to streaming. Amazon Prime is buying this stuff. Netflix is buying it. Hulu is buying it. All of these other entities are buying these smaller films. Why? Because I hate to say it, but a lot of these studios just don't see the dollar signs in a movie theater. You have to remember that post COVID now, things are changing. The world has changed. Things are changing at such a rapid fire pace now. And streaming services are so prevalent now. They're even more prevalent now than they were like a year and a half ago. They really are, man. And everybody is vying for your dollars. Everybody is vying for your eyeballs, guys. They all are. And it's all about content, content, content. That is what it is. And so they go to these studios and they say, "Hey, by the way, do you really think this movie's gonna make money?" And they're like, "Oh God, I don't know if we're gonna really get butts in the seats for this. I mean, with the COVID restrictions and people not 100% wanting to go to the theaters only for certain movies, maybe we should play it safe and put it on a streaming service instead." And that's what they're doing, guys. That's the whole model that's happening now. And a lot of these smaller films that might have caught fire, years and years ago in a theater, and the word of mouth slowly building up and a slow release and getting it to a wider audience, that is just not happening anymore, guys. It's going straight to a streaming service under a whole crapload of algorithms and other movies, and it's just a pylon of other things, and eventually it just gets lost in the shuffle. I mean, movies like Knives Out was, I would like to say that that's the norm, but that's not the norm, guys. There is no norm about that whatsoever. It's more rare now than you might think. And now think about this. Knives Out 2 and Knives Out 3 is going directly on Netflix. It's not even coming to movie theaters. So even a movie like that has the potential to earn more box office because the first film was so successful, that's gone now. That's gone. That's over with. That's not even a thing now. That's just over with. And so where does this leave the little guy? Where does that leave the smaller movies? It leaves them literally nowhere. And that's the truth be told of it, guys. It literally leaves them in just this black hole of nothingness. I mean, like I said, people are going to want to see Godzilla versus Kong. Why? Because it's an event movie. It's Godzilla versus Kong, and they're fighting, and it's just this big event blockbuster movie. People are want to go see an Avatar movie because of the immersive experience of it all. People are wanting to go see a Star Wars movie because of the lightsaber fights and everything. And people are going to want to see that stuff, guys. But these smaller films are going to have a much more harder time trying to get audiences into these movie theaters and trying to really get eyeballs on them. And with all these streaming services now, it's just the content that wants to hit you over the head. And so they're thinking to themselves, hold on a second. Why would I? Why would I go to a movie theater for a smaller release film? It's nothing that's like big blockbuster, everybody's talking about it. It's something smaller, it's something a little bit more intimate that maybe I can just watch at home. And so that's what streaming services are banking on, guys. I mean, I will say this much. You know, do these two films, this Brad Pitt movie and this Sandra Bullock movie, are these like the two linchpins of like the whole indie smaller film genre? If these two movies fail, does that mean it all goes to hell and that smaller films are just destined to always go on streaming services? No, it's not that these films are like the be all end all, but I think it's a trend that is going to continue to go the way of streaming. I just feel like the more times that you have these smaller films that won't make the money, that have less earning potential, I think you're going to see it on streaming services. And I also think, look, at the end of the day, these studios, they're all about the IPs. They're all about the actual properties and the franchises now. That's what these studios make their money on, is the franchise. At the end of the day, that's all that it's about, guys. And if they make those franchises, that's their bread and butter. They don't care about those smaller indie films. They want to make the money for the big franchise stuff, and that's why you see like Jurassic Park 6 and 7, and you see Avatar 4, 5, and 6. I mean, that's why you see them, because they're bankable. They make money, but these smaller ones just don't do it, guys. And I hate to say it, but it's the honest truth, man. It really is. I mean, it's a real shame, because back in the day there was so many smaller films that really got some great attention and great love, and they slowly built up to being something that was worth seeing in the movie theater. But those days are dying. Those days are really dying, and COVID just sped the process up. I mean, really, honestly, it did, man. And if movie stars, even in smaller films, cannot get butts in the seats anymore, then what does that mean for those movies? Either they're going to go to streaming services completely and never go to movie theaters, or they're just not going to get made anymore. And all we're going to get is this franchise stuff over and over and over and over again. And at a certain point, it just kind of gets frustrating and you lose interest. And so there's got to be a balance. But in order to do that, these movies have to make money. Studios have to see that they make money, and if they don't, they're just not going to care. It's something that COVID affected out of many, many other things that it's affected. Smaller indie films are ones that are going to, honestly, they're going to get the axe, guys. If they don't make the money, if they're not part of a giant franchise, the studios just aren't going to care. It's a sad but true statement. But I want to know what you guys think about that. Definitely let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday videos that I do every single week. The movie reviews with my friends, movie hunting like Dollar Tree hunts, live streams, Blu-ray pickups, and much, much more. If you are a lover of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank my really wonderful subscribers out there. You guys are absolutely awesome and amazing. You give me some great feedback, wonderful comments. You watch the videos. You really engage with me, and you give me the love, and I hope I give the love right back to you. So thank you so much. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, FilmFan108. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if any of you guys out there are interested in sending the channel any movie-related goodness, whether it's posters, care packages, physical media, it doesn't matter. If you are interested, the P.O. Box is down below. A lot of you guys have said, hey, I am interested in sending stuff to the channel. I kind of wanna do it. And you guys asked for it. I set up the P.O. Box because of it. And you guys have sent me some really amazing things. I am so blessed to have you guys send me stuff. It's not expected, but it's really appreciated. And the fact that you guys have gone out of your way to do that, it really means that you care and you show a lot of love, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. So if you're interested in sending any movie-related goodness our way, definitely send it through the P.O. Box down below. And some interesting physical media this week, and more to come next week. So I will see you guys back next time for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.